All right. Can everyone in the chat give us like a hello or thumbs up if they can hear me just fine? Hopefully that you can. But if you can hear me, that is awesome. And welcome to this live stream tips and tricks about using Senso Portal. You are here with me, Lisa, aka Betty, and Owen, aka Yeti.
Hello.
Um, Hello.
Hello.
Okay, let's establish this early on because we've done a lot. Can I only hear you or can everyone hear you?
Everybody can hear me today, yeah.
Okay. All right, because it makes me sound and I'm like, no one can hear you, and they're like, everybody can hear me.
I'll do my quiet sinister voice when they can't hear me.
It's like the voice in my head. I promise there's actually someone there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about things because during this time of year, we do so much training with teachers and techs as they're getting ready for school to ramp back up, especially with its schools a little bit different this year with distance learning and half. Oh, and I don't know over there if it's similar to here in the States. A lot of schools are splitting it up where they do have in-person classrooms, but they also have students that are distance learning at home. So our product is perfectly suited for that sort of environment. And so we're just kind of, this is not a demo. This is not an overview. You guys know it. If you're here, you use Senso, you're familiar with us. This is really some things that we find that we like to talk to our customers about when they're using it to help them utilize the product more efficiently. Or maybe they don't use it like we do every single day, in and out, like all the deep menu stuff that just really some really nice tips that we can give you as school starts to using our products. So, with that being said, make sure that you like and subscribe to the senso.cloud channel. Also, in the chat, feel free to ask questions, comments, concerns, whatever you'd like. We are monitoring that as we go through. I will be trying to look at the chat and read the questions here. Owen as well will be doing the same. We may even start kind of reading the chat in the live stream. We typically like to do it at the end, but I think for this is really just a conversation that we're having with you guys. So, with that being said, Owen,
Yeah.
my partner in crime,
Hello.
my brother from another mother.
Yes. I was just
Where do
gonna
you want to
say as
start?
well. This is gonna be very informal. There's no formal way of us doing this. It's not rehearsed in any shape or form. It's just something that it's going to be follow the same sort of line of what our podcast is. So those that listen to our podcast will know that we'll probably go on a tangent in some places. And yeah, hopefully we'll answer some of your quiz. A lot of this is what we're going through. So some of these questions have come from you directly to us now. And some of these are questions that we're consistently asked on the support desk. So, and it's just some of them are probably easier to explain to everybody through this as to how certain things work in Senso and perhaps how we can probably improve your experience of using Senso. So I'll switch over to the scene, Lisa. So we're now sharing my screen. Where do you want to start?
Um, Golly, let's start. Let's go over to the teacher role first. We'll come back because I definitely want to get into the safeguarding. We did talk about some of the things that you said to support, but let's just kind of start off light. So if you will, or I will, whomever wants to, Owen and I like to fight over who gets to drive in these things.
Yeah.
And on that note, before we jump in this, yeah, we have a great podcast. We have golly, 8 or 9 episodes in now, maybe more. We've had our first guest on. We have more guests lined up. That's going to pick back up. We went on hiatus for just a little bit because we were on holiday, aka vacation if you're here in the States. So now that we're both back, we're going to be picking that up and starting the podcast series again. So that is something that is again just an informal conversation between myself and Owen. It is sponsored by Senso, but it's not about Senso. It is about really anything that revolves around being in tech, whether teacher, support person. Our background, Owen and I, of being technology and teachers, our technology directors and teachers. We talk about games and movies, and really it's just a conversation for you to get to know the people in Senso better. So let's talk about what we're looking at here. If you are a longtime user or first time user, you will then again notice at the top that we are what we like to call in a teacher view. Um, One of the things that I am going to talk about is best practices for setting up roles. Now, roles are very important with your users. We're going to be switching back and forth between this tab and the other tab. So, Owen, because I'm going to go into like some deep menu stuff, I'm actually going to have you drive on this. So, if you can kind of switch back and forth for me. If you want to go back to the admin center, let's go into roles. So roles are important in that we give you some just kind of boilerplate, template roles in there. They're organizational admin, I believe it's organizational manager and our console user. These really are just roles that we give you to give you an example of how to set this up. What we're wanting you to do is to create your own very customizable roles. So what we've done is we've kind of created what we would consider a teacher role. This is going to strip away all of the tools that would be considered more of the technical side of it. For the admins in the background, maybe the login and safeguarding is going to be something, again, tech and admin level up. And teachers really just want the tools that are going to help them for classroom management. So in general, you see that you have three options as far as who you can apply this role to. Again, if you start at the top with all sites, it's going to let this user be able to view all the sites in the main portal. User assigned sites is an amazing feature that's put there by our dev team in that you can create a role and then assign the sites by individual users. So you can make a change to the role, but you don't necessarily have to change the sites they're assigned to because they are assigned to individual users. So in a really large tenancy, you have this generic teacher role that you've given out to hundreds and hundreds of users, and you don't want to make a change as far as what they're seeing site-wise on it, then use the user managed sites. That is something that is a great feature for those that have lots of users that are going to be using the portal. You want to make a change to the role, and you don't necessarily want to have a ton of different roles that you're going to have to modify. And then the last one is going to take me here in a minute. The following sites, we're going to talk about Google Classroom Sync. And this is the one that there's a couple of different ways that I like to utilize this. Again, individual sites, if you just want a role to see an individual site on the other side, that's why you can use this one. But if you choose the following sites and leave all of those unchecked, this is perfect for, well, right now we want to leave them unchecked. This is perfect for Google Classroom Sync and any other Teams or Clever or any syncs that we're pulling information over into the main portal about. So teachers that are seeing this, or anyone assigned to this role essentially, won't see any sites. They're only going to see those groups and classes they themselves have created. So let's use Google Classroom as the example. If you leave this blank and just select the following sites, then all they're going to see in their portal are their self-created Google Classroom classes. That makes it easy for the tech teams. They don't have to set up any groups for these teachers. That makes it so easy for your teachers because they themselves can customize their own classrooms in Google Classroom, put them in the order they need to be in, name them what they need to name, and they only see the students that they need to see in those classes. So keep that in mind as you are creating this role. All right, permissions is next. This is the admin center. Typically, we leave this all unchecked, but there are some preferences in here that could be good for a teacher role. Some of those may mean groups. You want them to add or create groups. Profile, scroll down. There is an option within here to be able to give your users access to their profile. Now, their profile is up there in the top right-hand corner underneath their username, where they can go in there and change their own console name. This is what Owen is going to look at now. They can change it to whatever they want their students to see. You see right now it says Owen. Two-factor authentication is in here. You have the ability to limit how many thumbnails that you see in thumbnail view, the quality, the default thumbnail quality you want these thumbnails to pop into, which typically I always say leave it at high quality. Our footprint on anybody's bandwidth is so minuscule that you don't have to worry about these quality being at high. Typically, that is there for if you are maybe on your phone using our portal to look back in at your devices and you don't have a very strong signal, then yeah, you can change the quality of those thumbnail views so that you can see them easier. But this is something that I think a lot of our users miss when they're setting up these roles, is giving their own users the ability to kind of manage their profiles that way. All right. Billy Bob, that cracks me up. Okay, let's go ahead and go back into roles where we were. Let Owen catch up. Modules, you want to be very selective about the modules that you want to give out to your teachers. Think about the users. If you only have Chromebooks, then create just a Chromebook teacher role and just give them the tool sets that work on Chromebooks. If you have a lab teacher that needs Chromebooks and Windows device tools, then create another role specific for those users that are going to have some carryover. They're going to have some devices that are just Chromebooks. They're going to have some devices they're monitoring and managing that are Windows. And again, create it if you want to another role that's just Windows specific. You don't have a limit on how many roles you can create. Help yourself, help your teachers, be very granular with this so that they just need to see the tool sets that they need to see. Role visibility is for our bigger tendencies where you want to limit who can see these roles. So if you have an on-site technician, you don't want an on-site technician to possibly assign maybe a high school role to a middle school teacher, a middle school role to a high school teacher. You're just going to restrict the roles that they can see and assign. And then login restrictions. Oh, and if you'll go over there to login restrictions. For privacy, and especially because we have so many devices that are going home now and our school managed devices, you're going to hear me emphasize that so many times. These are for school managed devices. You can limit when teachers, staff, admin, whomever can access the portal itself and see those devices. Outside of everything being audited, this is a great way to limit your users to say, okay, Monday through Friday during school times, this is the only time you're going to actually be able to log into the portal and view those devices. Or by down at the bottom, you see that you can restrict it to your IP address if you are on site. And we actually give you the public IP address automatically so you can set the range for that. So these are some things that as I'm doing training, I find that it's very useful to go over it like this. And I had it today. I definitely wanted to look at that first because I find that the more granular and specific you are with your roles, the easier it is to do training with your teachers and your staff and to show them what they need to see within the portal itself outside of just a super user that's going to see everything. Okay, so back in that teacher portal, no, I want to go to the portal that we had open in a separate tab that was just the teacher view that had the Google Classrooms on there. Okay, so let's talk about Google Classroom Sync. Here is the biggest tip I can give you, your staff, your teachers, whomever is going to use this. When they create their classrooms in Google, okay, this is in Google Classroom, they're creating these classes. Let them know that they can organize and sort them themselves. So if math year one, class one, they needs to be at the top. When we pull that information over, we're going to sort it alphabetically or numerically. So very easy in Google Classroom, either put an A, B, or C at the beginning of your classroom name to sort them in the order that you want them to be in, or put a 1, 2, 3, first period, second period, third period, fourth period, that sort of thing, so that they will sort themselves into a linear, just a list that you have that goes down within your portal. So as you are going throughout your day, it's very easy for you to find those classrooms and click on them. And the reason I'm really emphasizing this is because over these trainings, I've been working with teachers and they have named, all 7, 8, 9, 10 of their classes, all like, for example, world geography. And it was hard for him to find where his students were because all of his Google Classrooms were all named world geography. So I suggested, make first period world, second period, third period, fourth. So then he knows which devices and which students he needs to look at from his roster that he added in to those classes this year. Okay. And and correct me if I'm wrong, Owen, this will be the same thing that you could do within Teams groups if
That's
you wanted
correct,
to sort them. Yeah. Okay. Alphabetically or numerically.
Teams groups works similar in the way that the teachers would see it, works in the same way as how it works with Google Classroom.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a big check mark. I have notes. No one knows if I have notes, I am taking this seriously. Anytime we do a podcast and I look over next to me and I'm like, I have notes. Owen's like, oh no. So I have notes today. Owen, do you want to talk about Teams right now while we're here? And then we can go back and talk about some of the things we were going to look at as far as policies and support tickets that have come in.
Yeah, so we obviously now have a Teams integration data sync, and obviously it's, as you can see on the left here, it will allow you to filter out your devices based off of your teams, if you're a school, teams classrooms, or teams groups. And the way it works is that we're able to detect the email address of every device that's on here. So every device that logs in, we're able to see the email address, and if that email address is part of, is a member of one of these groups, which unfortunately that one isn't, we'd be able to see that device within this group. What this benefit, how this benefits schools is that obviously with the situation that has obviously happened this year, a lot of schools have now reverted to cloud classroom management using Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom, and they're importing their timetables into Microsoft Teams and creating their classrooms from their MIS data, or what is it over there? SIS data over there?
Student information
Yeah.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so MIS
here.
over here and SIS over there. And what they're doing is they're
Yep.
importing and creating their classrooms within here. And what this will allow the teacher to do is, same as Google Classroom, is you're able to have all of your classes filtered out automatically into here. So if you're in science period 1 with year 8, with the year 8 class, and that group shows up in here on the menu, you can click on that, and all your students that are logged in from that class, that are logged into a computer with Senso on it, you'll be able to see them from this view. There's a few extra features that we've got with our Microsoft Teams sync as well, which I'm going to hopefully try and show you now. But we also have the ability, to import users from your Microsoft Teams data. However, I don't think I'm on. There you go. I am on an account. So what we're able to do is actually import your users from here. Unfortunately, I haven't got any users to import because I've imported all the users automatically. But from here, you can import any users, assign them to the correct roles, and you can also assign them to their sites that they need to be doing, which obviously saves you a lot of time having to import your users the other way that we currently have. And you can also set it as well to automatically create your users when they appear. And what we do with this is we only import users that are owners of a Microsoft Teams class. So if they're not an owner of a Microsoft Teams class within your tenancy, they don't get to be imported into here. So this is obviously a good way of preventing students from accidentally being imported with console accounts into Senso.
Yeah.
But we are actually as well, because you can see here we can actually exclude security groups. So what we're actually able to do as well, we're actually able to create groups from your AAD security groups and import them as well. We by default we automatically exclude them because most people have a lot of security groups in AAD. So it's probably best by default, but by some slim chance you think, oh, maybe it might be quite cool to do, you can add that in. And then you've also got your areas to sync, because with Microsoft Teams there are two kinds of, I actually think there's three, I can't remember Lisa, I think if Seb's in the chat he'll be able to confirm, there's either two, maybe three different types of Office Microsoft Teams classes. And obviously with schools, most of them they'll want to import just their education classes, and then others will want to import all. The difference is obviously the education classes are the ones that you use with your students, and the groups ones are usually the ones that you create yourself manually from within Microsoft Teams, where you just create a bog standard Microsoft Teams.
Yeah. And I mean, look how many options we've given you across the top as far as importing data. I just think that's really cool that we're constantly looking at what our users are wanting to pull their information over into, and we're going to continue this. So we're going to continually speak with our customers, get their feedback about how they want to sync their data into this. That makes it easy for them, the tech team on the back end, and for the teachers. Because really, once you're in the classroom, you want it to be very user friendly, and they're not having to do a lot of creating groups, pulling information in, setting up. We want it to just be automatic for them. So just keep an eye on that data sync area. I think you're going to be surprised, as we grow again, even if you've been with us from the beginning. And I see Ted in there, so Ted knows what I'm talking about. Our buddy Ted is watching right now. From those customers that have been there since the beginning have seen that we are constantly improving and modifying the product and making sure that we listen to our customers and their needs as far as to making this easy to use for them. So great. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. And the next place I want to go is, you know what? I know we're kind of skipping around a lot, but again, this is not a demo. This is something for our customers that are use this every single day, and we want to show them some of the things that they may not realize in there. You know what, I kind of want to talk about policies and exclusions. I see that a lot in our support desk, our help desk that comes in for tickets for us. So if you would like to go back into the main console so that we could look at the policies area, I want to highlight something that I think would be very helpful for our users to know that's there. For those that have safeguarding turned on, it's called logging and blocking, but of course we always reference it as safeguarding because it does two things: it logs and it can block. But essentially, when you're looking at the policies, we don't want to look at group membership. There we go. You are click happy today, Boo.
I'm trying to find a good group to go to. Stop picking on me.
It really doesn't matter. Just go into the logging one.
You want the logging one, yeah?
Yeah, I want the logging one. That's what I'm talking about here.
Okay, I'll let you off.
Bypassing applications. So go scroll down just a little bit. We're looking at, there it is. All right, SSL application exclusions. Application following only this one application and SSL bypass URL list. So let me start here. You're going to see me. I'm actually going to move my icon. I need to update my picture. I hate that picture. Okay, so you can actually filter the following application only, meaning you're only going to look at this one application. It's something we want to put in there because, again, we want to make our product as customizable for our users as possible. And I don't think a lot of our customers know that these options are actually in their safeguarding policy. So below that, you will see SSL application exclusions. So let's say you have something that is having some interference from Senso. It's packet inspection. It doesn't like it. It happens. There's a lot. We don't like our packets to be inspected either. So we completely understand, as far as software goes, that you may have some issues with that. I think LogMeIn, TeamViewer, these type of things, Microsoft Word. I know there's like a bunch of different ones in here. It's very easy for you to fix that super quick. Come into your policies here, go to application exclusion, and exclude the application. You just need the executable. You'll see in here, as an example, we have Outlook.exe, Teams.exe. So you just need that executable in there, and then they're separated by, what is that called? The bar? What is that, Owen? I never knew what. I never. Separated by the little bar. What is that called?
I always call it a pipe. That's what I've always called it.
A pipe?
But I don't think it's officially called a pipe. I can't remember. Yeah, someone in chat can probably confirm to us what that official name is, because I don't want to have to sit here googling it. We've got player, but I always usually call it a pipe. I don't know what other people call it.
I call it the bar. I don't know.
I've always called it pipe, so.
I'm sure someone, I bet Ted knows. I bet Ted will let us know. The next one is SSL bypass URLs. Again, so you can bypass executables, but you can also bypass those URLs. Again, if you find something as an online piece of software that really doesn't want to be inspected by Senso, then go ahead and put that in there. For those of us here in the States, especially those, we have a tremendous amount of customers here in Texas. We have state testing software. Now, of course, with Corona, state testing has been on pause, but before that, we had two different systems. One is called Telepass, one is called TestNav, and these are secure browsers, and the other one is actually an application that something is installed locally on the devices for these students to be able to do their state testing. It has to be put into these exclusions. It will throw you these errors, and they're very nondescript because that's just how the state testing software is built. typically, when I set this up for customers, I will automatically put those in there. Testnav.exe, telpass.exe, and then the secure browser down there in the URL list, so that when you get ready to do that state testing on those computers in the labs, you don't have to worry about Senso interfering in that. And then it's really probably just going to be your antivirus that you'll have to look at in Windows updates. For those of you, I know if you've never done state testing, this is like, what is she on about? But for those of us here that have done state testing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is a great example of how to utilize this feature. So I had it in my notes that I just wanted to talk about this because it's something that we have a lot of support tickets for. We tried to open this program and it had some interference with it, and we can fix it very easily. That you might be able to fix it yourself. Did someone?
I know, I've Googled it myself. Chris has just answered it for us. It's actually called officially vertical line.
Oh my gosh.
It is also called the pipe, or piping symbol, or Sheffer stroke, vertical slash, think colon, or divider line. Interesting factoid. Everybody knows now.
Now we know. They spent $1 million to come up to the naming convention for it, and they called it
vertical
the
line.
Vertical line, the bar.
It is literally called. It is a vertical line. They've literally called it vertical line. It's actually what I used to call it when I was younger. I used to call it vertical line. I didn't realise I was actually using the correct terminology for it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, I wasn't wrong.
You are wrong. All right. So then I have here, you would want to, while we're here, you were going to talk about excluding some information as well. Keywords and Windows caption?
Yeah, so a common one that we get, obviously, with customers is the ability to be able to exclude certain pages or documents from appearing on violation logs. So for example, when you've got a member of staff that's using a system like CPOMs or My Concern, which by the way we now currently sync with.
That was smooth, by the way.
I know, yeah. Because obviously systems like, so obviously this doesn't, the US customers may not know this, but CPOMs and My Concern are systems that are used over in the UK to report safeguarding concerns, I believe. I think I've got that correct. And there can be a lot of sensitive data. There could be a lot of words used on those websites that get flagged up on our keyword libraries. So what you can do is exclude those websites from being monitored, or any violations from appearing from those websites. Now, obviously, this is our company one that we use, because we do SSL. We do this inspection on our own devices. And so we've obviously got CPOMs and My Concern, which we do by default for all of our customers, but then you can also add your own in. But what this references is window caption. So this is excluding violation logs from window caption. And a window captions, for those people that don't know what a window caption is so for example, we're on a Senso console tab. Now technically that is also classed as the window caption. With Google Chrome, they hide the rest of the window caption because it's actually Google Chrome Senso console. If I was to switch over to Admin Center, it would be Google Chrome Admin Center. But if you open something like, so if I open up a Notepad document,
Task Manager, Settings, Control Panel, any of these. Yeah.
That across the top is the window caption, so Untitled Notepad. And so what we can do is exclude. All we'd have to do. So say for example, I wanted to exclude Notepad from being having any keyword violations from coming in. I could literally look at this and go, right, well, I see Notepad is probably the common denominator between every single Notepad that I open. So if I type the word Notepad, and this is case sensitive as well, so make sure this, and all I'll have to do then is add that. If I'm using websites, so for example, if I want to exclude Google from coming up, I can see that the most common denominator is Google. If I do a search, fingers crossed, and you see Google is still an element within there. So what I can then do is come into here, put another pipe in, Google. And from then on, you'll never do a keyword violation on Google. Obviously, I would recommend doing Google. I'm just using this as an example.
Or Notepad. Yeah.
But obviously, you may want to. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yep. And I mean, and please correct me if I have this information wrong, because sometimes I get in my head of like, this is how it is, and it's not. I know we have in there it says log and block.
Yeah.
Go down to the bottom for me, please. Most of our libraries in there are just logging. We don't block anything unless it's been specifically set up and maybe like a detection library you built yourself to actually block it within your safeguarding policy. Now, IWF keywords and IWF URLs, those are blocked, but those are the only two libraries I believe I'm speaking correctly. Those are the only two libraries that come pre-built in the software that actually block anything. If you want to block something, then you either need to use banned resources or build a detection library that you set up yourself that you have to block it. And another thing I will remind you, if you create a detection library, which we highly recommend that you do, I have some terms, US based slang terms that I've created a detection library that I upload for our customers here in the States. You have to add that library to your policy on the other side. So if you create a detection library in the admin center and enable it, the first time you create it, you have to come to this side and tick the box in your policy to turn it on. But after that, you don't have to do that step. You can add items to that detection library as much as you want, and you don't have to turn it on. I find that that's a lot of the support that I have as far as when it comes to logging is I create a detection library, it's not detecting anything, we'll go in and look, and they haven't enabled it in their policy. So you just need to make sure to check your policies to make sure that things are enabled. Great. Anything else you want to talk about here before I push this on?
There is also another section within here as well. So there are another common one to happen is somebody's name is also a keyword detection. So obviously when they type the username or go on a username on a website, they type the password in, obviously it gets flagged up. What you can do is actually, because unfortunately I'm on my development environment, unless you actually, are you able to log into your live environment and show it? There is a box in this section here that allows you to exclude keywords, and obviously that will allow you to exclude that particular keyword that is affecting that user, and again reduce any false positives from happening. So you will notice that in your login and blocking policy.
And you definitely want to be able to reduce, as much as you can, the amount of false positives that you have, especially for our larger tendencies that they are logging information for just a ton of devices. It is nice to know that you can come in here and we have given you the ability to remove those so that you can kind of clean up your false positives.
We have actually as well, because we are doing a lot of work on our detection libraries and even more work on the logging and blocking side of things, to reduce even more any false positives, is the ability as well to, I don't know whether I can show it actually, I'm hoping I can. Yes, I can. There you go. The match conditions. Yeah, so
yeah. Some
keywords that occur will also be followed on by something else. So I'm trying to think of one that we could use. So let's use hello as an example. Say that hello was a naughty word and we wanted the word hello to be detected. But actually, it's not just hello that I want to be detected. I actually want it to be matched with a specific word. So hello, Lisa. So
I like how I became inappropriate in this scenario.
So what we could do is actually say hello. So although the detection phrase was hello and a lot of people will be typing hello, it won't be detected unless they actually say hello, Lisa. Does that make sense?
It does. It does to us, but yeah. I think maybe going forward, when we set it up with customers and they kind of get an idea of, I have all these false positives and different things, we show them this feature. It's just another layer that they can go in.
Well, actually, yeah. So the point I was getting to is that we also do this on. We're also doing this on our built-in libraries that we've got as well. The same work.
Yeah.
I just got. This is the way to give a visual representation of what we're doing as well.
Right. And you see behind there when I create things and I test, I like to make words that aren't inappropriate that I have to look at in that word cloud.
Bunnies and all that stuff.
don't like to see all of those inappropriate words, but it's there for a reason. And we are going to, I don't want to open up logging unless we know for sure there isn't anything
Oh, there's
inappropriate
definitely
in.
some good juicy words in there.
No, no, because
Oh,
YouTube,
it's such a
community, I don't want to, community violations, we're not going to go over there. But in logging, I promise you it's there. I don't want to show it. If you don't know, we have AI
Let me
threat
have a quick look.
analysis.
Let me just have a quick look. I'll take it
Yeah,
away.
take it off screen. We have this artificial intelligence that looks at the screenshots that we're taking and gives you feedback on them. It analyzes the images and lets you know that you may have some visual threats in the screenshot itself. I personally don't know of any other software of our kind in this, again, I know that there's other software, but of our type that's doing something like this. And I know that when working with my techs here in the States, they absolutely really like that feature. It's just one more layer for them to have, something like this that is constantly monitoring their devices and letting them know when they have violations come through, whether it be keyword or a visual threat in the screenshot itself. It's very cool. So if you ever see, when you are in your logging area, right there next to the clear filters up there, the boxes here, you see if found no visual threats, that will turn red and show you how many visual threats you have. And if you click on it, it will sort it out. We are not going to click on it. We're not going to click
No,
on it.
because usually when you have to click on it, it's actually got very
It's
legitimate.
actually, yeah. So
I've just
no,
done the
don't
last.
click.
I've just moved it over, put it to the last 30 days, and it actually hasn't found it. But there are a lot of bad words if you
No,
do the
no,
last 30 days.
no. With the, we want to keep our channel. We want to keep our channel. Period.
Oh, actually, no, some of them aren't actually too bad. Actually,
No, they're for you, and I'm a mom.
my
I
eyes
know it's
only.
bad. Your line of bad and my line of bad are two different lines.
Sorry,
Um,
mom.
hey man, I accept that term wholeheartedly. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left, and I have a lot of stuff to get through. So excuse me if I go into my like super fast voice, because I do have things I want to talk about before we have to end this live stream today. Sites versus groups. Over here to the left, sites versus groups. This is outside of all the amazing ways we've given you to sync information in to automatically create groups. These sites and groups are super important. Think of a site as a building, high school, middle school, junior high, elementary. Did I say something funny, or is there something?
No, it's all right. It's just in Ted's. I'll come
Okay.
to that.
Okay. Or you want to really pull your devices apart and keep them as separated as possible. A great example is teacher devices versus student devices. Keep those in separate sites, because you can put devices into an individual site. They cannot be in multiple sites, but within that site, they can be in a lot of groups. So you don't want to have accidentally teachers' devices getting grouped in with student devices. And again, that helps you when you create policies. Your teacher devices may not be as restrictive as far as logging, blocking, ban resources, whatever you're setting on them, versus your student devices. So keep those in separate sites. But then you'll see where it says senso.cloud Academy down here, you can create groups, and you can even create nested groups. So these are really great in that once you have, stop doing that, you're killing me, Smalls. Go back up to groups, dude.
Yeah, you can tell you woke up early this morning.
All right. Groups. This is also a great way to utilize filters. So when you do your deployment, it's very easy to build a deployment package that you can sort your devices automatically into their sites by a site ID, but you can take it even one step further and automate it so that not only do they get put into their sites by their site ID, they then can get filtered down into groups that you can be very particular about who gets to see those groups. So you see that we have given you a lot of options within how you can build these filters, from device name, remote host, username, AD group, IP address, and email. And I think, I feel like there's more, but I could be wrong. That
No,
you
it's
can
fine.
look at the devices and pull information off of them here. like or not like, and use that wildcard. Here, the wildcard is a percentage sign. It can go either before or after the term. So if you have a naming convention that makes it very easy for you to filter to your groups, please utilize this tool. I think it's a highly underutilized tool and feature that we have to help separate out your devices to make it easy for the tech teams on the back end or teachers if you're really relying on groups to just see the devices that they need to see. So this is something I wanted to point out when on the list today of features you may not know is there. Okay, search bar. I'm taking over. We have so many tools. Look at how many tools we have. Isn't that amazing? Sometimes you forget. I do this. I forget where run website is all the time. I don't know why I have some sort of mental block about that. How awesome is that? I need that tool. I need it on the fly. Use the search bar. Again, another underutilized tool that I think is something that is very nice to have. So when you're looking for just one individual tool set or module that you want to use, it's very easy to use that search bar. Oh God, I am like, whew, I am flying through this. I know.
You're a lady on a mission.
Whew, got me sweating.
Well, you say that. I mean, everyone in the UK right now is currently sweating. I am actually sweating buckets right now, and it's killing me. We don't have air conditioning here.
I know. And as I'm sitting in my lovely, very hot outside, but lovely Texas office with my own personal air conditioner that right now is set on to a balmy 75.
Oh.
I love it.
What's that in Celsius, Lisa?
I don't know. You know, I don't know Celsius versus freedom height. So this is I love having, and I got fan speeds and all sorts of stuff. I love our office. It is it's amazing. Okay. Sidebar. Tab view. So tab view, I'm hoping I'm going to go thumbnails. We've talked about this before. This is a new feature that in thumbnail view, if you click on your devices this way, you'll see that they will open up in a tab view across the top. This is really great. Ooh, I'm going to talk about that.
Yes, I was just about to say.
All right.
Tab view. I want to talk about that today. I mean, if we don't talk about it today, we'll talk about it next week.
All right, so tab view. I'm gonna literally, because I want to talk about legacy because we get so many tickets about this. Tab view. Use tab view. Use copy and paste feature. That's an amazing customer feature request that's been created by our lead developer. I love that tool. Be able to copy and paste from your device to remote devices, from remote devices back to your devices, or sync your desktops together. How awesome is that? That is from customer. That is straight from customers that we created that. All right. Legacy. You want to do it, or you want me to do it?
You can do it. I'm too hot. I'm too hot. I am actually, honestly, I want to take my t-shirt off.
I'm gonna go turn it. No, don't do that. I'm gonna go turn it down to 74. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm thinking about getting one of my children and building them one of those fan wafters and getting them to stand here and wave a fan at me.
Like the Cleopatra with the big, yeah. Okay. Legacy, and I hope I say this correctly. When you see this is a new it's been built into it so that when the graphics card on devices go into sleep mode or hibernate mode or whatever it's called, you are going to see legacy in thumbnail view. You could, and I was just about to say, you can also see a blue screen that says legacy. The device is connected. The graphics card has just gone into a sleep mode. The second you click on it, open it up. When I work with my customers,
the worst computer in the world. That one's one of those little sticks.
it's okay, but it's fine.
I think it's default set to legacy anyway. That one.
If you have thumbnail views here, so let's say the time, this looks like a different time than what is the actual time. That's only because it grabbed a screenshot, it's gone into hibernate mode, it's not going to be sitting there sending information back and forth because it doesn't need to. It is letting you know that legacy, that graphics card has gone to sleep, you need to wake it up. So you can either click on it to go into the device itself and then take full control of the device and go ahead and wake it up. The other things that I say that are easy to do is you can go ahead and select those devices and click on take mouse control only and click through and wake those up. Or I have even found that you can switch monitor and that will wake them up as well and pull them out of that legacy. So you see right here, oh my gosh, you would think I would actually know how. I think this one may be turned off. that it will actually pull you into turn it on, and guess what? The legacy goes away. Now, it doesn't go away immediately, but it will go away when the device is active. So just be aware that that is a feature that we have in there to help our customers, so that it's you can see which devices are kind of in that sleep area, and it's not that they're not connecting, they're just waiting for you to make them active again. Whew. Okay, that was clear as mud. I feel like we're going to get a ton of questions about that. So, um, the other thing I have before we have the last 3 minutes, we can probably stretch that out to 5 minutes. You wanted to talk about your secret. Wink, wink.
Oh, no,
Your
no, no, don't. No, I don't. I don't want to
no,
talk about any secret. I have no idea what
no.
people are talking about with secrets.
Oh, sorry, my bad. There is no secret. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was the question around the service desk, but we'll come back to everybody at a later date with the service desk. So it's going to be officially called Service Desk, so Senso Service Desk. And we will come back at a later date with a time frame for when it's going to be officially released, which I think Kev's already answered in the chat. So if anybody's watching chat at the moment, he said it's like he said, it's not far off now. We're just making sure what we're doing. We're going through and ironing out any bugs because we want to release to you the perfect product. We don't want to get released to you with any issues on there. So once our team has gone through it and we're happy for it to go for release, what it will then do is we're going through to a sort of beta phase to our customers, and then after that we'll then have an official release date for you. And what we'll do for the release date, and me and Lisa have already agreed this, I think, is we'll do a proper official launch YouTube video. Now I know we have done a YouTube video on the service desk a few weeks back, but that was just sort of a preview of it and
its coming.
It's coming, and it has changed quite significantly since then. So we will be doing a fully fledged YouTube video on all of it closer to release date, or maybe just before the official release date.
But and that I want to agree with Owen on that one, that we are very serious about these when we're testing them, that we want to make sure that we go through, and that when you're excited about something that's as big as this, that it, we have looked at it at every angle that we can. We're so excited about these features that we want to give to our customers that sometimes we push them out and we're like, okay, maybe we should have waited a little bit on that one. But our service desk, we want to make sure is just, as you guys say, bang on. Did I do it right? Did I say it right?
It's bang on, yeah.
Yes. And so, that's coming. We are doing our best. You have your superheroes on it. We are getting it ready and making sure that it is phenomenal and ready to go for our customers.
It is very, very, very nearly not far off. But,
we just it's in testing. It's in testing right now. I have something else, but you know what? I think people know how to create shortcuts and icons. So
we can say that because we're doing this session. We're doing another one of these sessions next week because obviously we wanted to. This was kind of arranged. Monday, was it? What day is it? Yeah, so it was arranged on Monday. So we'll have another one.
I don't know what day it is.
And we'll have another one of these next week, and it'll have a bit more of a focus on some more tips and tricks. And we're going to build up a few more of template conversations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're getting so used to how we do our podcast that these live streams are kind of like that. I like the kind of free form of it because we think about things as we're sitting here. We're not stuck into a script. I find that if I'm looking at a script, I will forget to talk about things because it's not something that's written down, where if I'm just focusing on it, like I'm talking to my customers, training teachers, just having a conversation about utilizing Senso, that we'll talk about different things. So that's what we want to get this live stream series started back up. Of course, it's been the summer. There has been, what has been going on that's been everybody's freaking, I know. Oh, that's right. COVID. Yeah.
I thought you were being serious, Ed. I was thinking she's joking. She's got to be joking.
it's been a little weird for the past few months, and we have been really focusing our attention on our customers, helping them get ready for the school year, helping them get everybody trained, set up, devices in. So that's why you have seen a little bit of our social media presence is not as what it was before, because we have focused our attention to our customers. Our customers are getting our full support right now to make sure that they're ready to accommodate their staff, their faculties, their students, admin teams, everything. And so really once all of that jumps off September 1st and everyone is kind of comfortable with whatever it is the school year is going to look like, then we're going to refocus back into more live streams, the podcast, everything like that. So I just like, for me, and as mom, I like to talk about how I like our company is so customer focused. So we can we make decisions like that where we want to focus on our customers versus just trying to do marketing different things, especially with the craziness that is 2020, which I will be so glad when 2020 is done. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is the live stream today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to do your typical YouTuber thing right now, so feel free to be like, oh my gosh, here we go. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. There's also the bell icon so you can get notifications when we do these live streams so that you don't have to rely on other social media accounts that we will push out to let you know. Go ahead and click that bell so that you get that notification right away. Please subscribe to our podcast. It's called Betty and Yeti. You can find it on all audio streaming services.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple. I actually need to check because we haven't actually released one for a while. I'm pretty sure it's still
I mean,
on them, but
yeah, it's on all, because when it comes to my phone, it's on where I look at podcasts, it's on my spot, it's on all of them
yeah,
essentially. With that, the audio version we do film ourselves. There's a video version that we put up to YouTube. It has gotten better. We're still dealing with a little bit of quality as far as cameras, but we're getting there. But it is nice to, if you just want to hang out with Owen and I and listen to us be silly for an hour. Just realize that when we record these, it takes us like 3 hours to and then I have to edit it down to 45 minutes to an hour, and it's pretty funny, the stuff. I really honestly, maybe when things kind of calm down, I would like to do an outtake episode, because there's some conversations we have that I've edited out and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm sad that we had to cut it just for time wise. But please subscribe to our podcast. Did I miss any of our social media stuff?
LinkedIn. Make sure you like us
LinkedIn?
on LinkedIn's a big one we use a lot. So if you're on LinkedIn, make sure you search for Senso. Is it Senso? Yeah, search for senso.cloud within LinkedIn. Give the page a follow, give us a like. We pump loads of information on there. We're also on Facebook. Make sure you get on
And
Facebook.
Twitter?
Twitter as well. Twitter, I mean, is built within the portal, but for those people that aren't Senso customers yet, make sure that you search for Senso. I think it's Senso Cloud on Twitter, at Senso Cloud.
Mhm.
Search for us on there, give us a like. And for those other customers as well, new or old, that haven't yet joined our Discord server, make sure that you do. If you don't know the details of joining the Discord server, reach us in the live chat on the portal, or get in touch with your account manager and we'll happily get you invited.
Yep, and we actually, in your portal customers, you'll see that you will have a little envelope in the top right-hand corner that is information from us to you. These are messages outside of all of our social media accounts that we have, that we like to communicate with our customers through their portal about updates and different things like that. So that's it. So all right, everybody, you guys have an amazing. Oh, what day is it today? Wednesday?
I think it's
Golly,
Wednesday,
this
yeah.
is this is how out of it I am. Happy Wednesday. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Let's get through this and move on to whatever 2020 is going to throw at us next.